progressive and communism are at the essential level the same thing.
Socialism and communism at the essential level are the same thing.
Progressive, how are they different? How are they similar?
Okay, so they're really, if you're looking at it from a dictionary definition standpoint versus a Marxist definition standpoint, right? So according to the dictionary definition of socialism, it's the state controls all means of commerce and industry. Same with communism, same thing. There's no such thing as private property rights. All commerce and industry means that there is no such thing as private property. It's all distributed to, you know, quote unquote, the masses as the government sees fit. You could say that Marxism actually believes in a red revolution to get there, but really there's nothing that prevents socialism from doing the same thing, because it's not predicated on any kind of moral absolutes. In other words, they still believe that murder or, you know, and all that stuff is justified.
So if they believe in the end result so much, then it will outweigh the costs to get there.
Well, that's the whole thing. The ends justify the means. I mean, in other words, it doesn't matter what atrocity needs to be committed to get there. It's all justified.
And that's what a socialist ethic, morality, believes, is that if you're going to achieve equality for all, then it doesn't matter what it costs to get there.
You could call it utilitarian, you could call it pragmatic. I mean, if you break down pragmatism from a purely secular standpoint, then there's no moral absolute to prevent the pragmatist from saying, okay, well, if we need to get from point A to point B and we need to eliminate anything that's standing in our way, and it so happens that private property owners and people who love the Judeo-Christian ethos or our constitutional system of government are the ones that are standing in the way, then we could just eliminate them. And how do we eliminate them? How do we make sure that they're never to be heard from again? Destroy them, right?
The number one threat to the fascist and socialist progressive movement is people realizing what it really is.
Yeah.
Right? And so then the greatest mission of the socialist, progressive, fascists is to do what? To censor people's speech, ideas.
Yeah, and that's why this is just the beginning phase, by the way. I mean, the end result is that they're going to try to destroy anything that stands in their way when they get to a certain point of achieving power, to the point where they could do that without any repercussions. But in the meantime, they're willing to censor, and they're willing to take away any kind of rights from those that would stand in their way. The right to bear arms, obviously. That's why progressivism, socialism, communism, and fascism have that one common denominator, which is to oppose the freedom or the right to bear arms.
What do they want to achieve? Why do they want to take away all these great things? For what purpose?
Well, in their mind, they have been brainwashed into thinking that what they stand for is a utopian society. And that if nobody has private property and nobody has individual rights and nobody has freedoms, then that, because that's antithetical to the collective, that as long as the collective is promoted, you have to kind of lose your identity, you have to lose your economic independence or anything else that they think is counterproductive or counterintuitive to what it is that they're trying to promote, then they think it's justifiable to eliminate all those things.
But is there utopia? What would it really be like?
Well, we've seen what it's like. You take, again, the former Soviet Union or communist China. They think that if nobody had private property rights, then everybody would be happy. But the problem is that because it's inherent within human nature to actually want to be industrious, and want to be entrepreneurial, and want to actually have your own property, have your own home, something that you could actually take pride in and own for yourself, and on behalf of not only yourself but also for your family, they look at that as a threat. And because that will always be the case, because it's inherent within human nature, they will always have to have a mechanism of government to enforce their utopia. And that's where oppression comes in. That's why oppression and their version of utopia are always going to be joined at the hip. They have to be enforced in order to maintain that system of government. And of course there will always be problems with people saying, but I would like my own property, or I would like my own freedoms, or I would like to be able to go to here or there without the government's approval. There will always be that human condition, the longing for freedom, And because of that, they will always have to they'd always have to promote or institute any kind of atrocity in order to maintain their overtly oppressive system of government. And that's why there's no such thing as the end result of total utopia that Marx and all these other collectivists were claiming that they wanted to achieve. They'll never get there. And so they always have to be in an enforcement position in order to perpetuate this kind of government that will never actually achieve its utopia, because it's impossible to maintain without oppression.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Let me do something real fast. There is a growing change happening in America, and we want to understand whether it's good or bad or what to make of it. So today we have with us Winston Sanders, who is a specialist and has spent his entire life studying these great issues from a very important aspect. So Winston Sanders, good to have you with us.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it and glad to be here.
Great. All right. I think that's fantastic. Thank you so very much. Great.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Brendan.
Great. Awesome. Good. Yeah, I thought that